Hello, everybody. Today I'm here with the Disney Heroes Battle Mode Update 3.2.10, and we're going to be getting Frederickson from Big Hero 6, and also Vinny Santorini from Atlantis, who's going to be the August sign-in hero. And then there's obviously going to be some bug fixes and general information, so let's just get into it. First up, we have Frederickson, and this is the final member of the Big Hero 6 team. And we're finally getting him, and I'm so excited. I think he looks great. I wonder if his mask is ever going to come up and we'll see Fred as, you know, I'm curious what they would do for Fred in his, like, as, what am I even saying? I'm trying to say as his human form, but he is a human just wearing a suit. So I'm just curious what he looks like under that suit. I would imagine maybe like for a victory animation or something, he could flip that up and he'd be in there. So yeah, maybe we'll be able to see that in game. But for now, we're just seeing his suit, and they did a pretty great job with it. It kind of looks like he's mid-lunge or something right now. One of his legs is up. Yeah, they did a great job with his design. It kind of reminds me of how he looks in the TV show a bit, just a little less angular. But I cannot wait to do a Big Hero 6 team. It's going to be so much fun. Anyways, Fred is going to be a tank hero, and he's going to be in the diamond crate. So on Tuesday, hopefully, I'll be able to get him. And then from there, we can work on doing some team videos and stuff. It'll be a lot of fun. Let's go through his skills. The fire-breathing lizard. Fred shoots a burst of flame at all nearby enemies, dealing a certain amount of true damage initially, then true damage per second. The smoke screen. Fred lets out a burst of smoke, removing any freeze effects on all allies. This grants Fred and his allies stacks of hardy and blinds all enemies. So he's a good character to bring up against someone who is freezing your team. So that's pretty cool. And then also, you know, hardy and blinding enemies. Sign off. Fred lifts up his sign, counters the next basic attack, and deals normal damage to the closest enemy. After he counters, Fred gains reality and armor. So that'll be cool to see him pull out a sign in the middle of the battle. Sign on fire. Once per wave, when Fred reaches a percent of his max HP, he lights his sign on fire and removes any freeze effects from himself. For the rest of the wave, Fred cannot be frozen, and he heals for a percent of all true damage dealt by himself and allies up to a max. Finally, Fred time. The initial damage for fire-breathing lizard is increased. Once per wave, when Fred reaches a percent of his max HP, he cleanses himself and gains energy. When Fred uses sign on fire, he also removes all freeze effects from his allies. After this happens, Fred's allies cannot be frozen for the rest of the wave. That's pretty cool. That one move is just completely unnecessary then at that point, but yeah, he can completely just make a freeze character useless, basically, especially one who typically will ruin a match. Maybe Fred is a good counter to that. His friendships are going to be with Go-Go and Barley Lightfoot, and Barley and him have such a similar personality that makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty interested to see how they will get along. And then Go-Go is a pretty obvious one. They didn't interact too much in the movie. They're kind of a foil, honestly. Their personalities are very different, but it'll be cool to see them interact in game too. So let's move on to Vinny Santorini. I've actually just recently saw Atlantis finally. I thought it was pretty good, and Vinny's a pretty funny character, I suppose. I don't know, all the side characters kind of get the equal amount of screen time, so I feel like, other than, you know, they haven't chosen Milo yet, but any of the characters I feel like they could have chosen as another, hero for this series. I don't know, I kind of like the Doctor a little bit more, and I don't know, I'm blanking on their names at the moment, but I liked a few of the other side characters a little bit better than Vinny, but I suppose Vinny's probably the easiest moveset because he's got a lot of uses of explosions and stuff, and that makes for a more interesting character. So It's cool to see him. I would not have expected Vinny, if I'm being honest. So um, it'll be cool to see him in game alongside Kita. And he's going to be a damage hero, and the sign in here for August. I guess I didn't even really talk about his design. He looked pretty faithful to the original design, so there's not much to say. He's got that one bomb there, I'm sure. I haven't looked at his skills, but I'm sure he's got a lot of different assortments of explosions in his arsenal. And I also just want to say, we haven't been getting sign-in heroes in the normal patch notes. They make separate patch notes. I'm honestly really sick of that. I wish they would just do this every single time. Obviously, they don't always have a hero to come out at that time, but there have been many days where they released 2 patch notes and put them in separate ones. So thankfully this time they didn't actually do that, because that's honestly just annoying to me. Just put them in the same patch notes. It makes no difference. So finally they're doing that again. I hope they continue to do that. Anyways, going through his skills. Boom. When it's passive, then he does not gain any energy when he takes damage, but gains additional energy when he damages an enemy with his basic attack. And when it's active, Vinny sets off a TNT explosion across the battlefield, dealing normal damage to all enemies. Time is ticking. Vinny pulls out a bundle of TNT and throws it at the closest enemy. Then TNT explodes after a certain amount of time, dealing normal damage to nearby enemies. The road flare. Vinny throws a road flare onto the battlefield that lasts a certain amount of time, which deals normal damage per second to nearby enemies and blinding them for the duration of the fire. I don't think he was the one that actually used the flares in the movie, but I suppose that does work out just fine. And then short fuse. Vinny's basic attacks now deal normal damage. I have a hard time saying that, I guess. To enemy. Let me start over. Vinny's basic attacks now deal normal damage to enemies near his initial target. The additional energy gained from Boom is increased by % when he damages a certain amount or more of enemies with a single basic attack. And then the Demolition Expert. Vinny's armor and reality are increased while his energy bar is more than a % full. Vinny blocks all attack speed increases applied to enemies for the first few seconds of each wave. Enemies that have attack speed increases blocked in this way are stunned. A lot going on there. If I'm being honest, I didn't really absorb any of that information, so hopefully you understood it, because I kind of was just reading it for the sake of reading it. His friendships are going to be with Anger and Mr. Big and Kozlov. Kita and him really didn't interact in the movie, so I guess it wouldn't make sense for them to even be friends, so I kind of like that they aren't, you know. And then we also get to see 2 brand new interactions. Anger and him make a lot of sense. And then Mr. Big and Kozlov. I feel like they have a similar personality, kind of. I don't know. They both are kind of monotone and can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but like I said, kind of a similar personality in a way. They also addressed that they were focusing on heroes this time around, so they didn't get to hero refresh, which is completely fine by me. But hero refreshes will turn in 3.3.10, so for all of you who are excited for hero refreshes, you know, we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but we did get some more heroes because of it, apparently. Let's go to the new hero locations and content adjustments. Fred is going to the Diamond Crate, and Crackerjack is going to the Elite Campaign. So just an easier way to get Crackerjack. We already knew about Fred, as I said it earlier. And then, oh, I don't have a picture of this, but I'll just read it out for you, I guess. Again, Vinny is going to be the sign-in hero. And then Ron is going to the VIP Crate, Esmeralda in the Guild Crate, Pocahontas in the City Watch shop, Russell and Kevin in the Creep Surge, Kronk in the Arena, Sean Yu in the Coliseum, Eeyore in the Heist, and Clawhauser in the Guild War shop. Nothing too interesting, I would say, with those. A lot of the characters that are going into the shops are pretty old, so other than the sign-in heroes, which we're used to, their usual rotations anyways. And this is going to be a full-up update that's coming on Tuesday, July 27th. So again, I should be able to get Fred that day. it is a full app update. I'm fairly confident we're going to get some more data mine heroes this time around. We've got a couple that we know about that have yet to come, but I would say now is probably the time that we're going to hear about some more heroes. So be excited for that as well if you're into those data mines. But I think this video has gone on long enough. I'm super excited for Fred, and also pretty interested to see how Vinny's going to work. And again, I cannot wait to do a Big Hero 6 team, so that's going to be pretty fun. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.